start with this because it represents a lot my approach in design and what I'm doing. And originally I'm from Murano, a little island close to Venice, very famous all around the world for the glass industry. And the logo that you see on the chair with my surname wrote under that is the symbol of my family. My family is one of the 12 families originally from Murano. And during the Serenissima Republic of Venice, the Doge, the King of Venice, gave this honor to the family from Murano to maintain the secret of the glass industry that can be, realized and done only there. So they give a kind of title as a noble. I'm not a noble at all, but that is the reason why I'm a designer. And I discovered that quite recently that I have this logo, and I decided when I designed this chair that is inspired by a book, to use that for the first time. It's inspired by a book because I always try working all around the world, but always with the feet very close to what I'm doing and from where I am. And this is where I grew up, that of course is connected to the glass industry. And so in 2005 I opened my first studio in Venice, and then in 2010 I opened my second one in Stockholm. And a lot of people ask me why Stockholm, and there is not really a reason. I just met a beautiful girl in Venice that later became my wife, and then I decided to move to Stockholm. And this man that you can see here is, I prefer to say, is my grandfather. He was a glass blower, a master. And in this picture is working with a guy from France, by the way, that was one of the owners of Veronese. And then you can see me in Murano when I was doing a project for Salviati. So when I was a kid, I was always asked to my grandfather, who is these people arriving close to you with the drawings? And he was telling me in Italian, we call disegnatori. So for me, I grew up in a kind of environment where to have someone designing or drawing something and then later to see realized that was quite normal. And I keep that until I understand that I can do the same thing. And for that reason, I truly believe in collaboration. I'm not, sometimes in our industry there is a lot of jealousy, but I truly believe that collaboration and to create this fil rouge with the people that is working with you is very important. And I try all the time to create different things together with other people. And of course, the beginning of my career was signed with glass objects. I was lucky enough to knock in the door of Salviati, and I literally knocked in the door because I studied at the Institute of Art. And during the summertime with my friend, we prepared a folder full of drawings and knock in the door of the different factory and to ask to them if they want to buy these drawings. And I was doing that not because I want to be a designer, just to make some money to have fun with my friend during the summertime. Then I continued this ritual also when I started to study industrial design. And luckily I knocked the door of Salviati, that in that moment have an art director from England called Simon Moore that saw all my drawings and he say, I would love to realize something. And then I designed these vases that is called Mille Pole, that's still in production, and luckily become one of the best sellers of the company. And I was obligated to open my freelance position to invoice them, and then I started to be a designer. Then I had a very big dream when I was starting working in Murano, was finally working for the foreign and was Benini. And the reason why I was dreaming to work with them is because Of course, it's probably the well-known brand from the island, but also because my grandfather was working for Italy, so it was a kind of legacy that I want to continue, not only to be a worker there, but to be a designer. And then I designed for many different brands in Murano, until I learned a kind of respect for the people that is working. And this connection with the supplier and the master really made me understand that you can do whatever you want in design only if you have the respect and the understanding of the people in the front of you. So later on I started to have the opportunity to work with Moroso and Bosa for this ceramics tour, because I was a little bit tired to all these rotational molding things for outdoors, so I decided to do that in ceramic. And then in 2010 I had the chance to work for the first time in Scandinavia, and I designed this chair that is called Robbo for a brand that is called Offect. And it was the first time that I had the chance to understand what means the respect for the environment. The reason why this chair born is because the first project that I showed to them was a kind of bench, and they stopped the prototyping of that bench because it was too big to ship all around the world. So they gave me another brief that was a coffee chair. So I decided to do a disassembled chair that looks like a robot, because I was inspired by a video of Björk when she's a robot. And I was thinking how we can represent a chair as artificial things. So I tried to create the same feeling, and then I designed that. Then I started to continue to work in Scandinavia. This is a lamp that is called Alpha Beta, that is called Alpha Beta because it's a kind of alphabet. So with different shades, that you have different kind of colors and things that you can combine, you can create your customized product. And then of course here we are, so Cristallia. Cristallia is the first company that believed in me and gave me the chance to design a furniture. So I designed in 2003, we launched in 2005, the face chair, and that came, really was my first piece of furniture. And I put close also the Tenso sofa and Constellation, the little table that I designed this year, because after so many years I'm back to design again for the company, and I really liked that in the beginning Cristallia gave me the chance to design the first, let's say, chair, and later on I had the chance to design for the first time a modular sofa for the company. Here is some images of the old headquarters of Cristallia and the picture taken of face.
Too far.
I need to come close, so maybe I'm staying here. So here is the sketches of Constellation side table, and the idea to also having the same feeling that you can see also in the Alpha Beta lamp. I try to translate to create a kind of alphabet also with the table, being inspired by the artist movement, and the Constellation came from a painting that is representing the encounter of two artists that happened in Paris. And the idea is taking the shape and building whatever you want, just using this different material and shape and putting together. And this is how it's working. And that is also some sketches of how we were thinking in the beginning and how we worked for Tenso, with this idea to really stretch and to create a kind of tension that create a comfortable and opportunity way to put the pillows on a structure. And this is the little model that we were doing in the studio to understand the proportion and the feeling of softness that we want to give. And the prototyping session. that, as I told you when I show you the images from Urano, for me this is probably the most important part in our job, to create this relationship with the company, of course, but also with the people that is realizing the product to achieve exactly what is in our mind. And then I want to show you also other things that we are doing as a studio. This is I'm not an architect, but I had the chance to do a building in Beijing in 2013. This was a multi-brand showroom. I always liked the challenge, and we were able to do this from scratch, from zero in 4 months. And I really like to put myself in some, let's say, not comfortable zone, because I truly believe that the not comfortable zone is pushing the creative quite a lot. So I think all the designers should consider the fact not to be safe, but try all the time to innovate or to achieve some result of things that they never do before. Sometimes you can fail, but sometimes you can also do good things. And then in 2016, I have also the opportunity to design around 20 stores in China for a brand that I'm art directing, that is called Zhaozuo. That is kind of interesting because in 2013, more or less, a young girl from China that was graduating Stanford came back to Beijing, and she discovered that there was a growing of the new Chinese middle class, and she wanted to offer to the market the opportunity to understand design, doing something just for the Chinese market. So she asked me if I want to be part of that. And also in that moment, there was a lot of Western company that I was working with that, let's say, they was not very happy that I accept to work for Chinese. But then I really accept to work with them because I truly believe that creating these bridges between countries, especially for a market that is so huge, where I can work on the platform to educate the customer in China to understand what means design, that means I can help them also later on to understand what we are doing here without to make them just to do copy much cheaper of what we are doing. And this is some of the product that I designed for them. And then, of course, my love for glass back. And I had the chance to do this huge installation with Salviati in 2017 in Salone, where I want to show that glass can be not only a relative object, but can be also used as a big installation to inspire people how to work with glass. In one side we were stacking, in the other side we were layering. And through that project we had the chance to be in touch with Hermes that contacted us to do the first project now in Venice, that I show you the picture. Now we are working for the second one that is a big installation in Hong Kong that will be released in December. And using always glass, but working in completely different contexts. So also moving from a product and doing Windows display. And that's it. It was just quick. Thank you very much. Now it's 5:00.